Alrighty guys, I'm Casey and welcome on back to a brand new episode of our Minecraft survival world. This is episode 50, that means we are going to be doing a world tour. We are going to be looking around this world. We are going to be looking at 3 different villages that I've built up over the past 50 episodes. The one in front of you right now, this is the most recent one, and this is going to be the last one that we tour because it's the one I'm most proud of. But I want to start back where this series began, all the way back 2 years ago when I released episode 1. I want to start in the desert themed village that I'm not very proud of anymore. I liked it at the time, but I'm not too proud of it now. But I want to go from there, go on to Viridus, which was the second kingdom that we built, and then on to here. But this is season 2. This is where season 2 began, in here. This one has story behind it. It has lore. It's really unique. There's a reason for every single one of these builds that we have. And we'll get into that when I tour this area. But I'm going to go back to season 1 and I'm going to start touring the very first kingdom that we worked on. Well, here we are, guys. This is the season 1 world. This is where this entire world began. You can see sort of snippets of it through the windows. This is our desert kingdom, and I wanted to start off in our house. This is our house. This is where we lived out of. When we first started this world, we started building up this house. This was our house. This wasn't the first build that we did in here. This was one of the later builds, but this is where we slept most of the nights. And I believe this armor was our first armor. Yes, it is. It's actually named. This was our iron armor before we got enchanted diamond armor. And that's really cool. I really like that we put that there, so it's there for all eternity. I do believe that all of these were indeed the chest plates. We didn't run too long with iron armor, but we did run a reasonable length of time with it, about as long as you could do with iron armor. So we've still got the very first piece of iron armor in our world. And we didn't do an interior. I'm not very good at interiors. It's something that I want to work on in the upcoming episodes. I've been working on it a lot in the new settlement in the season 2 world. But you could hear that we got a zombie somewhere out here, or a husk. He's just chilling. Mobs sometimes get caught in this little patio here, this little, I don't know, barricade area there. Yeah, they get caught in this area here. And it's annoying. It's not very spawn proof, but this is sort of like where we spent the first night. Now, the very first build that we ever built in this world, if I'm remembering correctly, was this thing right here. And, you know, there's an argument to be made that we should tear this down because of what it is. But I like to keep it as a relic. If we go inside, you can see this is an AFK fish farm. This was back in the updated Aquatic. I don't believe this farm works. It never actually worked in the first place. You know, it was very, very slow. It didn't do too much. It broke more rods than it actually used, so I never bothered with it much. I ended up going down the route of enchanting my gear as opposed to using AFK fishing because this just didn't work. But I didn't want to get rid of this. We did even have sky access, but I didn't want to get rid of it. I wanted it to sort of like be here so we could look back in like a couple of years ago. This is what the AFK fish farm used to look like. Well, obviously we've got to build a new one, so we'll get on that. I'll probably build one in 1.15 to get some books ready for, you know, 1.16, because 1.16 is going to change how fish farms work, possibly even break them. So that was the AFK fish farm. Now, this settlement that we're in now was originally a village. The village sat right around here, but I tore it down. I didn't want it. We did make use of the villagers. There's an iron farm over there that's now broken, but it made use of the villagers that was in here. And we used them in that iron farm to get ourselves enough iron for a beacon. But yeah, this is, our first mine is down there. That's also where our nether portal is. But we've got a new mine since here. It's not a very good mine, the new one, but it's better than this one. But yeah, that's where the world kind of started with this AFK fish farm. Then we started to add in different builds. So, let's start from over here and tour through it all. So, we've got this little like gantry here, this little like walkway that sort of like oversees where a dock was going to be. We was going to put a dock down here. I have like some ships and stuff, which is still something that I plan to do in the future, just not right now. I think you can still see sort of like the pillars of where this village was. You know, I haven't took them all down. I took a couple of them down, but I haven't gone all the way down to the sea level with them. But this is just a case of wood and some birch fences and some cobblestone. And I wanted to keep birch fences involved in this because it reminds me of sandstone. It sort of blends well with the sandstone. And I chose a case of wood because, one, it was something that we had access to quite frequently. We had a savanna right next to it. And I wanted to go with sort of like the vanilla feel for a desert theme. And they have the orange terracotta or the orange stained clay, depending on how old you are. it is. So I just decided to incorporate that into it. We used the chiseled sand and the smooth sand. I did add a smooth sand texture to the game, a data pack that allows me to craft the smooth sand to the game, so we could get that into it. But I don't think I actually ended up using it in this build anywhere, really. I can't see it anywhere. I just see this, so that's certainly possible. But yeah, so let's go down to the dock and have a look at the dock. So the dock's one of my favorite places. Even though there's no ships there, there is a marketplace, and the marketplace I really like. So on here, I put some stairs in it to make it look like we had some bricks missing. And this was the start of the deck. We did this wall twice. I did the first design that I didn't like, and then I came up with this design that I really liked. And this sort of follows all the way over here. I wanna do some work on this dock in the near future, actually, because it's a lot better than I'm remembering it being. I really like this dock. So if we come over here, after we've gone across the deck here, the sort of docking area, you can see this is our marketplace. And we don't have a sheep farm in this world, so I had to manually get all of this wool for this. And it took me some time, it did. But this is our sort of like marketplace. Not all of them have sort of stalls of what they're selling. Most of them, this one has bones because this is something that this kingdom produces, and it also has wheat, which is something this kingdom doesn't produce. I mean, it does have a wheat farm, but we decided this was going to be here. This is probably more than likely going to be tied into the lore of the new kingdom in the later lore, so I might change this to match the colors. But each of these is a different color, and if we were to go up, use the scaffolding. If we were to go up, you can see that we've got the strips running across the tops as well, just to sort of give it a little bit more of a style. Now, if you like these market kiosks, there is actually a tutorial video on my channel where I did a tutorial to show you how I did these. This was done, I want to say this was quite late into season 1, probably somewhere around episode 30, I want to say. Maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit earlier. But yeah, this is the market stall, and we made use of diorite in this, which I wanted to, when I decided that I was going to do this market stall, I wanted to incorporate these 1.8 blocks, I believe these were, into it, the polished ones, because we hadn't used them anywhere, and I just wanted to do a build with them, and this ended up being the build. I ended up doing this, and I think it looks really good. And these got a case of wood on them here, running in a crisscross pattern, and then underneath here, there's still some. But I don't think that we've actually got a place where there isn't a market kiosk. I think we put them everywhere. And we turned a couple of them to give a bit more variety. And again, you can see that the wall is coming across here. So yeah, there's actually a sunken ship down here, which I've been excavating, mostly getting all of the wood out of here. I'm just one of them OCD players. I have to get it all out, but I gave up after a little bit. Figured we'd do that later. And then we've got this that needs to do some work on this hill. Again, this is all still a work in progress. I think every world in Minecraft is a world in progress. But once we come up here, there's a little staircase here. This leads down to our skeleton farm. And if we go down here, you can see that we've got our skeleton farm. Skeletons spawn in here, or well, they spawn down there, and then they get sent to here, and they're just a one-shot to kill. You know, we've got our bone storage over here. Starts in these side ones and goes around, so not too many bones. We've been using bones for Viridus, which is another kingdom. Arrows, on the other hand, we have quite a lot, and this is where I come to repair all my tools right now, because I don't have an Enderman farm. And then obviously over here we've got all the enchanted sort of like gear that the skeletons drop, the bows that the skeletons drop, and the enchanted bows back here as the enchanted bows. And this is how we got our bow for fighting the Ender Dragon. Over here we've got a little bit of an enchanting room. I keep meaning to bring some blocks down for that. I keep forgetting. I leave some lapis here just because I always forget it. We've got the grindstone here to, well, not the grindstone, the repair disenchant grindstone to disenchant our stuff if we don't get the right enchants. And our anvil to combine it. But yeah, very simplistic design. And this had an overall as well, and I really kind of like this. There we go. And then this is here just to stick stuff in while I'm grinding the levels to repair our stuff. But yeah, that's the skeleton farm. I want to do more to this, get a staircase added in, something that looks nice, and we are going to start coming back to the old world soon to do some more stuff here as well. But yeah, so this was my house. We've seen this from the inside, and this is it from the outside. And in the corner, nestled right into the corner here, is my super smelter, or more like an auto smelter, because it's not really that super. It's just a standard train track 1. Now, what I like about this, and when I designed this, is I wanted to be able to see the minecart up the top going back and forth. I just think it looks really nice. So we've got them fence posts in there that allows us to see through it and see it just going back and forth. But I also wanted to hide the tracks because I don't like the tracks. And I think this managed to do it. I wasn't able to hide them here, but we could have gone to sort of like another road down this side, but I didn't want to. I just thought this would be enough for what I need in this world. It does it. We've got some nether brick smelted up over here that was going to be for a build that I haven't started yet. But I thought, get the nether brick sorted out now rather than later. We've got our blast furnace down here. This was when the blast furnace was first added. We popped this down here. A couple of crafting tables over here. And this was before lanterns were a thing. So if I was to come back in here and sort of overhaul this, I would do lanterns. But I don't think I'm going to. I'm going to definitely keep to the torches in this area because it goes to show what this area was like before. Was it 1.14 that added the lanterns? I think it was. So that's the super smelter. And now let's address the ugly duckling, which is this tower. Oh my god, I hate this tower. This tower is horrible. Just look at it. It's like a big ugly monstrosity. It looks like some sort of cyclops. Maybe we could call it the Cyclops Tower. So if we go in here, there's nothing really too much in here. But the reason that we built this tower is because I wanted a place to look out over the kingdom. Now, when I was building this tower, I was suffering from toothache. So I think that kind of equates into the bad design. Just because I was distracted with toothache. But the idea behind these windows and these towers was we would call this city done when everything that we could see outside of these windows was filled in with builds. So that's kind of the purpose of this tower. I think I may come and edit some of this tower, but I'm not one of them builders. I don't like to go and tear down old builds very often. I don't want to make a habit out of it, only if it's really something that was only just strung together quickly. But this is an ugly duckling, and I kind of like that aspect of it, that this kind of told a story for me, and it holds a bit of sentimental value, even though it is ugly. But that's my tower. It's the worst guard tower in the world, but what can we do? So, this building right here, let's move on to this building here. This is my storage warehouse. This, again, was built while I was suffering from toothache, but this was kind of while it was very minor. The tower sort of when it got really bad. But as you can see, everything is sort of like organized in here. This is our major storage room in the area. Over here, we've got the wood. Over there's obviously the stone stuff. And over here is just generic random stuff. You know, we got just all the other bits and bobs are jewels. We don't have a lot of diamonds in this world. We only have 3 actually, which is quite low. And some shulker boxes that I need to empty out. But these are all part of the old world, and I'm not using anything in the old world at the moment. We've got to sort of incorporate the lore back into it so that we can get over here reasonably. I'm trying to build up the new kingdom using only stuff in there apart from the stuff that we took with us, but we'll talk about that more when we get over there. So this is the storage house. I actually really like this storage house. I think it turned out pretty good. It still looks good even by today's standards. Not as bad as I was remembering it. Then over here, down here, we've got is there any left? This is sort of like where I put all my villagers. They've gone now. I've moved them over to the iron farm. I thought there was still one roaming around. I need to fill this in. But yeah, what we've got over here is a couple of houses. They're both just pretty much the same. Again, I need to fix this area. It's really kind of broken. I can't remember where the door to this house is. I think the door to this house is actually over in here. Yeah, there it is. There we go. Just a little bit of a house. And this is playing around with different shapes and having sort of flat roofs. So there's one thing that I like about doing a desert kingdom is you don't need to worry too much about the roof. You can just put a slab on it and call it done. You know, it looks really good like this. It's simple. So I kind of like that. So those 2 houses, I think I made those 2 houses while talking about the dentist actually. I'm not sure. Now let's go to this. I built something very similar to this in a private world with a couple of friends. It was supposed to be an archery range, but I didn't have any hay bales to put in for target practice and didn't really get much done in here. Like I said, I've come a long way since I built this kingdom, and one of the big things between this kingdom and the newer kingdoms is when I was making this kingdom, I was building what I could build. And I want to stress that word, could build. And that's because I didn't have a lot of time, you know. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. So I was only getting maybe an hour and a half to to not only build something together, but also put it together, do the thumbnail, do the editing, and all of that. I'd get somewhere between like an hour and 2 hours to do that. So I was trying to get daily videos, and it didn't always work out, which is why it's taken 2 years to get to 50 episodes. But we're at daily episodes now, and for the foreseeable future, I think I've got into a good rhythm where I've got more time. But yeah, so that's why a lot of these builds are half finished, because I was trying to do what I could in the time that was given to me. You know, I believe in doing something rather than nothing, so sometimes it ended up like this. But this did wear on me mentally, and I did end up losing some attachment to this world because of it. So I'm really glad that I've now certain more time to it, is what I'm trying to say. Words, they can be difficult sometimes. So let's move on. This is our library. And this was, again, a very early build in the series. I think it's like episode 3 or 4, something like that. But this had an overall. The building outside hasn't changed much, but the interior has. You know, we've no longer got an enchanting setup in here. I didn't see the point in having an enchanted setup in the library when we've got one in the skeleton farm. The skeleton farm is literally just down there, so it's not too far to run to enchant. But yeah, and what we've got on here is we've got a book called Great Sir Pineapple, which so the Great Sir Pineapple, or Pineapple, is a friend of mine. He's someone who I played on the server with, and he watches mostly all of my videos. So we incorporated a bit of a story into him here, and you can obviously read this if you want. It just pause the video as I go across, and it basically tells the story of Pineapple. And then over here we've got our very first death, which was on the 26th of September 2018. And I was going to record every death in this world. And again, this is a detailed story as well. But I ended up losing track of my deaths, so I ended up not being able to. So they're what they're there for. And in here we were going to put other books that we could then display on here. I was going to put, you know, commenters and subscribers, people who comment a lot on my channel and are into the series. I was going to make them books and have them sort of like immortalized in this world. And then over here we just got our enchanted books, stuff that goes on tools like efficiency, so on and so forth. You can see that we are very rich on mending books and very rich on unbreaking books. Yeah, I got a lot of those. And over here is these. Most of these have been enchanted using levels, not fishing, but there's those there. So it's not a very big library, we can't store much there, but it is something. So like I said, I don't have a sheep farm in here. This is the closest thing I have to a sheep farm in my world and a cow farm in my world. We're going to be working in the new world on sort of like incorporating more of this into it, so I've got access to this stuff, because I don't. So let's move on to quite possibly my favorite build in this city, and that is the Catacombs. This is the tomb. This is what we did after our first death. We immortalized ourselves here. Now, I can't remember if we actually put some gear in these chests. Oh, yes, we did. We put some bones in there. I thought we did. But I actually thought I put gears in here. So this is the tomb of KC1. This immortalizes our first death even more so. I'm thinking of duplicating the book and putting some signs on here to sort of say what it is. I think that might be good. But I really like this. We have fire tick turned off in this world, so I can burn these braziers like this. Although I think, given that that we can get soul campfires and stuff now, I think I might put some blue flames on here. I think that might be cool over the red flames. So that might be something in the future. There is a mistake somewhere up here. Yeah, these top corners here don't go sideways, they go vertically, and I have a picture of this as one of my screensavers. Not my screensavers, my background. It flicks between a bunch of screenshots, and I noticed that on that, so that now drives me crazy every time I come in here. And again, subscribers, if you want a tomb in here, just let me know and I'll put you a tomb in here, because this is Pineapple's tomb. This is the only time I use creative mode in this world, is to go ahead and give myself player heads to pop here, so that you can have a little bit of a tomb. Now, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. I do have Patreon and stuff like that, but I don't import people or induct people into this catacomb because they donate on Patreon. We're way too small for that. Way too small for that. Since we're so small at the minute, I'm more than happy if you are a subscriber of the channel and you would like a place in here. Just go ahead and comment your Minecraft name, and I will go ahead and nick your head and pop you down in here. So all you gotta do is be subscribed to the channel and be involved, and you will be forever immortalized in here. Maybe one day we'll have a Patreon haul, but for right now, I'm more than happy just to do it for simple subscribers. You know, yeah. Oh, look, it's night. I'm going to go sleep now. With the sleep taken care of, we can address the final 2 builds in this city. And this is the apartment complex coming up here. And I deliberately wanted this to look like an ugly monstrosity. Because, you know, apartment complexes, they're dark, they're bland, they're boring. And I kind of wanted to do something like that here. And in here, there are sort of just rooms. Again, no interiors done in here. Again, I was doing what I could with the time that I was given. And sometimes I didn't have a lot of time. There were some times when I did have a bit more time, you know, like Saturdays, Sundays, that kind of stuff, where I could spend more hours working on videos. But then there were other times where I didn't even get an hour and a half in the day to record. And, you know, we'd go days without videos, you know. So that's that. It's a very simple build. There's nothing really too much into it. There is a penthouse suite up the top, but again, it doesn't have an interior. Maybe that's something I could come and do when I don't have much time for an episode in the future. Because they, you know, doing an apartment complex interior, might be fun. Might be fun. Certainly gives us a place to practice our interiors, won't it? Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. And then the last place, I think, in this kingdom is up here. And this is our mansion. This was when I needed to build my iron farm. I needed to breed up the villagers. So I needed carrots, potatoes, wheat. So I made up a little bit of a farm for those here. And we have them right here. I don't know if this is really work in a realistic sense because of the desert heat. It might dry these out. But again, no interior. It was a big house. It's obviously... This would be fun to do an interior in. I think this would be really, really cool to do an interior in. But maybe that's what I'm going to get to in the near future. Oh, I got some stuff in here. But yeah, this one I deliberately wanted to have a double door. I don't normally do double doors. I usually work on a odd number. But this one I did on an even number. And then we've got the staircase that leads down here, which I really like the staircase. But I need to do some work here. As you can see, a lot of this is still rough edges. And I think what I might do is I might start doing episodes where I come in here and work on certain parts of this. Oh yeah, I think I'll do that so we can start to finish stuff. But I want to spend a lot of time focused on the new world at the minute. But I definitely want to come back and finish off some of this kingdom. But this is our very first kingdom, so it's going to be something that grows over the course of the channel. So maybe what we can do is the guy who left here, because in the new world... The story is, a guy from this village, he saddled up a horse on his horse or cart and went off his own way. Maybe he learns some skills, comes over here and donates some stuff to this village. So we can have, so we've got a reason why some of the builds would be out of style. You know, that'd be really kind of cool. I like that idea. So, as for this unnamed kingdom, this is pretty much, this is Viridis. This is the Gatehouse. Now, Viridis is Latin for the word green. And what Viridis is, what it sort of stands for in our world, is it's sort of like where we're putting our farms, like certain farms. Anyway, we're going to put a bamboo farm here. We've got a sugarcane farm here. We've got a tree farm here. We're going to put a cactus farm here. We've got a vine farm and stuff like that. So this is the Gatehouse. And I've still got to do the wall going into the sides here. But this is where we're using bark block, jungle, and... Well, we've got spruce in the roof there. But that's the gatehouse. It'll look a bit more in place when we've got the wall coming out of it, I think. But if you want to know what the wall looks like, we do have a wall design over here. This is our wall design. Now, when I created this wall design, what I was going for is a 1 thick wall. Now, I usually do 3 thick walls so you can walk across them in Minecraft. And this time around, I wanted to do something a little bit different. And that's exactly what I managed to accomplish here, was deliberately having it 1 block wide. Because this kingdom wasn't meant to be very big. It was supposed to be a small village. But our sugarcane farm is absolutely huge, as you can see that. So once we come in here, we can sort of like come around here. We've got our sugarcane farm here, which is... The sugarcane farm is finished. It's just the basement that is unfinished. So let's go inside here. And you can see this is our alert sugarcane. This is the one that when it grows, that observer triggers and it will trigger all of them. Now, I know you can do 0 tick sugarcane farms, but I wanted to create something that was just cool and functionable and just looked nice. I wanted to be able to see the sugarcane when you came in here. And that's exactly what you can do here. You can see the sugarcane. And I just kind of like this. I wanted to give something that was aesthetically pleasing as well as something that was functional. This is when lanterns became a thing in the game, so we were able to add those in. And if we go down here, you can see that we've got our chests for it. This is not in the spawn chunk, so it's not always active. So I recently emptied this out before we went to the new world, so there's nothing here because we haven't been here since we went to the new world. But that's that. Over here, we've got our oak tree farm. These grow in big 9x9 clunks, and then we can just start chopping down the trees one by one. Get a big solid group of oak wood. Again, these haven't all grown yet because obviously we're not here all the time. So this is kind of what's grown since I planted it, and I planted this before I went to the old world. So we've got quite a few things grown. Storage for them. Here, I made a mistake. This was supposed to be 4 wide so I could have a couple of double chests, but we ended up just having a double chest and then a single chest. And that's just sort of like how the tree farm looks and works and stuff. This was a giant hill. This is what I've been tearing down to sort of like level it out because I don't like it. But it's been taking me some time, and we'll get there in the end. So this right here is a house. This was the very first thing that we built here before we even named this settlement. This was the very, very, very first thing that we ever built here. And this was supposed to be something that we were supposed to live out of. And we've got like a bunch of resources here that we've been using to build up. I actually need a bunch of dirt in the new world, but because of the old world isn't linked to the new world yet, or at least storyline wise it's not linked, I'm not bringing stuff. So this is where we lived out of. And again, I got some more double chests because there was a lot of stone bringing down this mountain here. So it's just a simple house. We used a bone block. This is where most of my bone has gone from the skeleton farm. And over here again, you'll see some chests dotted around. These are just resources from this. I don't have a lot of shulker boxes in this world. I do need to go get some more, so maybe that's something we'll do in a future episode. This is my vine farm, and you just sort of mine these with shears. They drop into here. They all funnel into here, into this one, and then these are just for storage, additional storage. And over here, I have my shears. So I think this is the most popular video in this series, actually, this vine farm, if I remember it rightly. But yeah, so that is pretty much for this. This was when bamboo first got added to the game and the berry bushes, and I just kind of like that this makes it look like it just sort of like stops us from looking too far into the distance and stops me from going, okay, you know what I need to do over there, I need to do that mountain because it doesn't look nice. And this is what I kind of want to have going all the way around this kingdom, is these bamboo shoots. I think they look really nice. Come on, take off. And as you can see, they go really, really nice. So like just all the way around here. And I like that. So this is Viridis, and this is a relatively small one. Oh, I almost forgot my favorite part of Viridis. This was a pathway that went between this. Well, this was an access point to this village originally. But they were at war with another kingdom. And we were going to build the kingdom over there, but we haven't got around to it yet. They were at war with the kingdom, and so what they did is... I'm missing blocks in here. I was not missing blocks before. What blocks? I wonder, what blocks am I missing? I don't know what happened to all these blocks in here. They were here before. I wonder if they were grass blocks and Endermen have taken off with them. But yeah, this was a entrance in and out of the city or village. And they collapsed it in to prevent attackers from getting in and out. And that's what I kind of like. And it was my first attempt at something sort of like broken down and rubbled and collapsed in here. You can see it's all collapsed in here. And I still like this. I think I would have brought it out at more of a slant if I was to do it again. But it looks really good and I'm really happy with it. So, I'm going to go ahead and sleep and I'm going to bring us over into the new world. Well, guys, we are back where the episode began. We are back in the new farming village. And this is, in my opinion, my favorite piece of work. I'm really proud of what this kingdom has turned into. And this has the most detailed lore and story within the entire world. So, what happened is we ended Season 1 and we started Season 2. And I wanted Season 2 to have reason and meaning. And so... I created the story that we had a guy from the desert village. He saddled up 2 horses. He got himself a little wagon. And he set off on his journey. And he came all the way out here with nothing but this wagon. And we built up this wagon in the first episode, along with this cave and this storage system, but we'll get into that in a moment. And we got this here, and all I did is I filled up one shulker box, which is somewhere, with items, and that is all that I was allowed to bring with me from the old world, was one full shulker box. And that included my gear. I had to take my gear off. I couldn't have a gear equipped. It had to be all in one shulker box. At least for the now. We will get some things from the old world later on in this series, don't get me wrong, we are going to get back there. But that's all we were allowed when we came over here. So we had to build up this wagon. This was the first thing that we built in the new world. And it is the same world. We're just a few thousand blocks out. It's not a different world. But we've got this wagon here. And then we had the idea that, okay, you know what? We're in here. It's going to this is made of wood. It's going to rot. It's going to rain occasionally. We need somewhere to take shelter from the rain. And so we built ourselves this cave right here. We got a lot of fire going here. Another one here cooking meat. I really wanted to put meat on the side of the fires, but they pop off when they're done, so they don't stay on there. So this gives us somewhere to just be sort of like out of the rain. Also somewhere to cook, so you couldn't cook inside there. It's all made of wood. It's on fire. So this gave this door here doesn't lead to anything interesting, really. This is just where I set up my beacon. Because I had to carve this cave out manually. I handmade all of this cave, so I wanted the beacon to sort of be here. So this was my first ever attempt to cave, and I think it turned out really good. I could have put some stalactites in hanging down, but I didn't want to. I wanted to save that so I'd have something interesting to look forward to doing another cave with. And we got some spruce wood holding this up. And then I was like, you know what? Now we've got this. He's going to need firewood. He's going to need stuff like that. So I went ahead and I put some firewood down here. And I stripped some of the bark and I made some of it spruce just so it looks wet. And we got these campfires on top as just like extra lumber that he's collected for it. And this is to fuel his fire because we thought he'd probably need some firewood. And then now he's dug all this out. He needs a place to store all of those goodies. And so we had a little storage. Oh, here, this is our storage room for this season so far. This is pretty much what we've been living out of. This and the storage on the wagon is where all of our storage has been going. I've not been using the crates in there because this is for aesthetic purposes, but these two are for functionality purposes at the moment in time. And then, so like after we got this far into the world, after we built this up, we got a rock back there, by the way, and a couple of rocks up there. After we built this up, we were attacked by some illagers, by a raid. Well, actually was attacked while building this, but this was all in episode 1 of season 2. And so I thought, okay, well, he's going to need some protection. He's going to need a way to protect himself against them. And so right over there is a village. And we made up the rule that some villagers came, they saw the commotion, they was like, oh, you need more citizens. You need people to help protect you. We'll give you 2 citizens in exchange for 2 horses. And this guy was like, yeah, okay, I'll give you that trade. Come back in a month. And that made us build our next build, which was this stable right here. And we've got this path going all the way to the stable right here. And we built this stable here to house the horses so we could breed horses up. And if we go out here, literally all my horses have escaped. How did they all get out? Are they going like up here? I'm going to have to bring all them horses back in. We had loads out here. But this is our stable. We've got our horses out here. We did have the world's ugliest tree. I'm not very good at trees. I'm trying to get better at them. This is like a first attempt, if you will, or a second attempt. This is my attempt at a tree that's not made from fence posts. Apart from in a modded world. And in here we've got some hay bales, sort of signifying one of the stalls is used. We got a couple of other ones. We are going to put horses in here that are really good. You've got high jump, high speed and that. But they don't fit in. So I'm going to have to take these all out and make these all fence gates to fit the horses in. I tried to get one in and they don't fit in the one wide gap. We've got a couple of wheelbarrows here that sort of like signify that this is what he's using to carry these and stuff like that. And then up here, up in the loft, we've got ourselves just some more hay bales. The idea is that I was going to put a couple of beds up here and have the citizens sleep up here for now, the 2 new villagers that we got. But I don't know that one yet. So yeah. So then the last thing that we worked on in this world was it was like, okay, he needs food now. He's got people. He can put them to work. He can do stuff with them. He's got a couple of people to help him defend his village. But they can also serve as a worker as well. And so we decided to set ourselves up with a barn right here. This is our barn, and out the front we've got ourselves some cases on here that's being lifted up into the barn. Out the back we've got ourselves some hay bales that's being lifted down. We are going to put some animal pens out here, but I didn't have enough time to do this in the last episode. This was built in the last episode, by the way. This obviously needs to go. We can pick this up while we're here, actually. Get rid of this. That could go. So we've got this here, and I really like this barn. I was really proud of how this turned out. And we can go up here, and we can have a little bit of a look around. I want to put some more cases up here in the near future, I think, just to signify that we've taken some off of here. But at the same time, a part of me is going, well, this is quite full. Would it make sense to have some up here? Maybe he's just started bringing some up here. We've got some feed over here for these here. So I think I kind of like it left like this, actually, because if we go down here, we've got some more cases here that couldn't fit on there. So maybe he's just started to bring these up, and I like that. No animals in here yet. We're going to get on the animals because this is like practically all the food that I have in the new world. I'm running really low. And this side we left open because this is where the farm's going to expand out to. So this is pretty much it. This is my new kingdom. And I really hope people like this. I've spent a lot of time working on this. I've put a lot more time into these episodes over here than I have done the episodes in Viridus and in the Desert Kingdom. And that's because, obviously, given the current situation in the world, I'm able to spend more time sitting at home playing Minecraft. So I'm finally able to put in the time for the episodes that I want to make rather than doing episodes that I can make. This is what I can do at the moment because, obviously, I have the time. So, yeah. And I think that's going to conclude the world tour. And we're going to have a brief exit chat right here. Just a brief one. Let's get up here so I can have a look at this. I like looking at it from up here. This sort of like over here. We've got my tree there that I'm using for farms. My wheat over there I'm using for farm. This is for scaffolding that I was using. Some berry bushes for scaffolding. This isn't part of the build. But the plan is to put a farmhouse sort of like here. And then probably put some storage silos about. I might put a storage silo over there. I may actually build a storage silo into the side there, or maybe up there a little bit to store certain things. I don't know yet. I'm still like undecided on some of the finer details of this. We're going to bring the pathway around here, and the idea is I want to keep this feeling very open, so that you can, so like it feels open. Like the barn's got a massive hole in it, and I like that because you can see right through the barn, and it looks good like that, and I like that. I was going to put an original tower on it. But anyway, so let's talk about the world very briefly so I can bring some people up to speed if this is your first time seeing anything to do with this world. So I started this world in 2018. It was supposed to be my endless survival world, my world that was going to be endless, building with whip, kingdoms, stuff like that was just going to go on forever. And it will be going on forever. However, about a year ago, I actually lost this world. My hard drive got corrupted. And I was really low. I tried to start a new world after that. I made 3 or 4 attempts at it, and I just couldn't really get into it because I had spent so much time in this world already and been through so much with this world. And then I found a backup of this world. I'm not sure if it was up to date or not, but it was close enough for me to go, okay, you know what, let's continue. You know, I didn't realize I had a backup on my external hard drive, but I did. And I was super happy. So after I did that, I did a couple of things in the old world, and I thought, you know what? It's been 9 months. Let's start a new season. Let's do something new. And this is what I did. And I've had so much fun building up this kingdom so far. I think it looks really good. And I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. And I can't wait to get more in here and do a big episode 100 sort of world tour. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode, guys, because I'm rambling on too much. So if you've enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like. It really helps that channel. I really do appreciate it. So please do leave that like. And click subscribe if you want to see more from me. Guys, I'm Casey. I want to thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.